let's take a look here. So we got some more information on the content update. We're going to look solely at the patch notes and see exactly what we have to see. So start fresh in a new economy, Dawn of the Hunt League. All your old characters, yada, yada, yada. Standard hardcore self-found. Most of this is very, very well understood. New content and features. So what does this look like? This looks like our other patch notes, right? So we see continually incrementally improve sound art and effects environment. So this is going to go in general changes. We're going to scroll down here. What do we got? And I'll make a note here. This is 0.20. Add a new playable class. We got some more steak, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. We got more steak. How about that? Okay, fantastic. And on top of that, the steak is well cooked. It's got some flavor. It's got even more steak. Look at this. New Smith of Katava ascendancy for warrior. New tactician ascendancy for mercenary. Added new skills. Added new support gems. Added new item classes. This is what I was talking about. The spears and bucklers, right? So this is that understanding of like the category of weapons, right? When we look at these things, we have to understand, right? These guys, these playable classes, they come with the weapons, right? They come with the skills or the skills and the weapons. It's connected. So your stake isn't just the playable class. It's like, it's the playable class and the items that come along with that class. So it's like, you're getting 2 for 1. You got not 1 bite of steak more, you got 2 bites of steak because you can play with those weapons with any character. So this is great. Added more items. Fantastic. This is amazing stuff. Added new endgame maps. Wonderful. Introduced 4 new unique strong boxes. This was fun. Introduced 12 rogue exiles. Awesome. Rogue exiles. Asmeri's wisps. Great. 15 new socketable items. Super cool. Introduced the Twilight Reliquary key. Essences can now have all orbs applied to them. Cool. And again, we always have to emphasize the importance of this one and how critical it is to our appreciation of the game that we all know and love today. All of this is great. All of this is amazing. All of this is wonderful, and we cannot get enough of that. And I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely honest with you, right? If we look at the plate and we see, half a steak, half of the mashed potatoes, and they keep messing with the peas, right? But they're giving us more steak and potatoes. That's okay, right? It's okay to swap out peas every now and again while you're giving us more steak and potatoes. Problem becomes when we have 4 months of pea swapping and then we get a little bit of steak, a little bit of potato. That's the problem, right? And we got the bread and we got the bug fixes, right? Which is the fact that the plate isn't cracked, right? Plate is, like the food is warm, right? That the meal works at all, right? That they brought you what you ordered. Okay, huge. So let's take a look at what else they worked on. Let's take a look at what else they did. This is end game changes. Okay, end game changes. What do we got? Let's take a look here. All right, area of corruption on the Atlas now has a central corrupted nexus that is the source of the affliction. Okay, so this is like the end game mapping. You've got a new way to interact with the content. I would say this is a good change. Upon reaching the nexus, you'll begin the task of cleansing. I'm going to say this is a sub point, but it is a good change. Let's just say that it's a hey, this is how the game works now change. It's not necessarily adding content, but it is updating it for a more final version. Again, we're moving the needle towards change. We're not making change, but we're in the right direction with this one. And by change, I mean like, hey, there's a new playable class, there's new story, there's new content, there's new whatever it is, right? A boss for each faction has been added. These appear in the corrupted nexus for each faction. Cool. All right. Yeah, sweet. Additional corruption monster factions have been introduced. Added content. Huge. Corruption monsters now have their visuals and animations improved. Skills have been rebalanced. This to me is a 50-50. I don't care about rebalancing their skills. I do care about the visuals and animations improving. Corruption areas no longer implicitly have +1. New corruption. Okay, so again, this is a neutral one, right? Because you're tweaking this whole +1 level area. That's a rebalancing modifier, all that jazz. But you've got them to be adding new modifiers, right? Cleansing and Nexus will now cause surrounding maps to become cleansed. This is a new thing. This is great. Fracturing orb fractures a random modifier. Okay, added stuff. Great. In order to open a corrupted Nexus map, the Waystone place must at least have 4 modifiers. This is just notes, honestly. This isn't really, I mean, it is and it isn't, right? You can now respawn and return to a map if you die. God willing, every change is this important, but I understand they can't all be that good. That was a huge one and continues to be a huge aspect of the game. In parties, everyone gets to respawn that number of times. Okay, subset of that one. You'll be able to enter and exit your maps as much as you like, as long as you haven't died. See this? Okay, We all forget about this. We all forget how it used to be. Maybe we don't. Maybe we have memories that last forever. The way it used to be is you would open a map and you would get, you would get your portals, right? You'd get, you'd open, here's the map thing, and then you get like a portal around the map thing, right? And every time you'd exit and enter, it would take away a portal, okay? This, as much as you like, this is what I'm talking about. This is some steak right here. This is your meat and potato content. If you're not gonna do another playable class, I argue every single change needs to be this. Every single one. I don't want to see a single one of these. I want to see every single change to be that good, that important, that big of a deal. Why? I mean, really, do I even have to explain this, right? This should be the most obvious thing in the world. This is the kind of change that we are talking about here. This is some real improvement. Massive. Okay, once you start a boss fight, the respawning system will change to require the map owner to collectively respawn the entire party. Good. So this is more of it tied into the respawning, aspect. If you decide to rush through the map boss, interacting with any other map content, and then die, you will respawn to the map checkpoint. All the other monsters will be removed. Fine. Personally, don't really care about this in terms of finishing the game, but I get it. It is whatever. Number of towers in the Atlas has been reduced drastically. Each one is more powerful. I'm torn on this one, but let's just say this is a good change. It's fine. Okay. And they changed the way tablets work. They changed the way tower maps can spawn, extra content mechanics. Number of maps affected by tablets has been doubled. Great. Killing rare monsters required for the map completion no longer has a chance to grant modifiers to the remaining monsters. This is a balance change. This is a P. Why is this a P and the rest of these are not Ps? Because this is your game loop, right? Kill monster, get loot, XY, kill, loot, right? What does this do to that, right? That these do differently, okay? The number of maps affected by tablets in double now has scales upon map tier, and it's doubled on average. You've got extra content, including bosses. You've got higher tier waystones and towers affect the number of mechanics applied by the tablets, right? You see how these changes change this game loop. They change how you interact with killing and looting. They change the way that your experience of the game matters to you. How you would play the game now changes based on these changes. Killing rare monsters required for map completion no longer has a chance to grant monster modifiers to the remaining rare monsters. You might argue that changes the way you play the game. You might say, hey, I'm going to play this map differently. I'm going to have a different experience, or I'm going to have more or less fun because of it. I'm going to argue this is a balancing change. This is a nerf or a buff, and this is a waste of time completely. If this change didn't happen, if they didn't do this, right? What actively changes about the game loop? What do you do differently because of this, right? If they do this change, what do you do differently? Do you strategize your maps in the end game Atlas differently? Do you plan out a route differently? Do you, no, you go into the map, you kill monsters. That's it. That's the only thing that happens with regard to this change. This change only applies to going into a map and killing monsters in the end game. Now, how do you do that? Do you now do that differently? Does that become harder or easier? It does, because we are no longer granting monster modifiers to the remaining rare monsters. Now, what does that mean? That means that this is a nerf to the monsters and a buff to the player experience. Ultimately, completely meaningless in regards to the fact that we do not have a completed dinner. We have half a steak. We have half the mashed potatoes that we should have. Why are you replacing peas? Why are you buffing and nerfing things when we have half the content? This is the problem. This is the conversation. This is the exact situation that we are dealing with when we look at every single one of these changes. We have to look at them without the idea of them being in a vacuum, but within the context of them being not only in place of something else, but also not important. This doesn't finish the game. You can say that this mechanic stays around for the rest of the game, but here's the thing. The game's not done yet. We didn't get a new act in the story. We have 3 acts to play through, story-wise, all right? We have 1 more playable character. We have 1 more aspect of weapons and gear to play with. The buckler and the, is it spear? We are still balancing the game. We are still acting as though this game is a finished product. Not a single thing in Red should ever have been done before the game was finished. Why? Because the game isn't done yet. And in that sense, everything that works towards finishing the game should be completed, necessarily speaking, before a single balancing thing is done. Because none of that matters. We all understand what happens when the game's finished. The game gets balanced. New seasons come out. The game gets balanced. New mechanic comes out. The game gets balanced. New broken build comes out and is developed by the player base. The game gets balanced, right? So when we look at these balancing changes, they are so subjective and so meaningless as to be a complete waste of time and add nothing to the player experience. Alrighty, and with that, we have come to the end of the video. Like the video or dislike it. If you agree or disagree, let me know why in the comments. This video is going to take quite a while to finish, and will be definitely broken up into many parts. So make sure to check out the other ones if you haven't already. I will theoretically be streaming at some point. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, Aramorian signing off.